Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome. I am back with another video in our game animation sample project where we are currently doing guns. We have the sword from before, so it's only natural that we can also damage our enemy with guns. So let's equip a gun, and we have some aiming and some shooting going on. But it's not much of shooting yet. The shooting right now is just a trace. So in this video, let's try to add some procedural recoil. I tried to mess around a little bit with it, so we will see how good we can make it look. I'm not really an animator, so we will see. But it should be fairly straightforward. So here, when we shoot, we need to add recoil. And to do that, we're gonna change, if we want to do it procedurally, we need to change the bones, pretty much like we're doing with the spine rotation. So that's what we're gonna be doing here as well. I have some values here that I played around with. So we're gonna take those values, and basically what this is just transform modify bone. So it's the same node as this, it's the same input with rotation. So you can just copy these ones, and we're gonna do it for a bunch of the bones that we feel are reasonable to do. So, but if you look here, this is the base aim pose. I'm gonna plug this in first, and we're gonna do spine 04. That's what I'm using for that one. So just to see what happens here, if the alpha is 1 and we set this to -10, you can see that he goes back a little bit. So you have to play around with the values and the values that you like. I found -4 works fairly well. And for the right arm, we're also gonna do the same, but with this one, we're gonna do clavicle right. And I set the X rotation here to 10. See the arm is going out a little bit. We also have upper arm right. And I did 10 for that as well. The arm is going down a little bit, so now we need to compensate for that by moving up the lower arm. So this is -20 and -15 on the Z-axis. So these are only the X value. So here is the Z value as well, and you can see that the arm now goes up a little bit. So we're back to almost where we started, but this means the arm will go back a little bit. Then we have the upper arm left, because we can't only move the right arm right. So for the upper arm left, see there, I did 20 to compensate. So that goes down, means we have to move the lower arm left up a little bit, so -20 to compensate. And there we go. So we have like a kind of a little bit lower stance with the arms a little bit bent backwards. And for the actual hand itself, we're gonna do a slight. So basically this is, sorry, if I do 15 just to show you. What? Ah, it's supposed to be -3. How do you see? If I do minus, it's that direction, because the shooting direction, basically. So -3 and worked fairly well. We can keep playing around with this. So you see, this one is basically spine, recoil, rotation. And we have the right arm recoil rotation. I didn't actually do anything with the clavicle on the left side, but maybe we should do that. Oh wait, no, I don't. So this is the upper arm left, upper arm right. So we can take the clavicle left as well. Clavicle left. And that's the left arm recoil rotation. And these are not nice values. -10 maybe. Nothing. -5 there. Yeah, -5. Probably fine. That looks alright. And then we can do the hands. And left. It's probably fine. Just gonna delete mine. So I just kept them so I knew the values. So basically what we're gonna do now is we're gonna, since these are hard-coded, these values, you have to play around and see what values are nice. We can smoothly change the alpha of this with a timeline. So let's promote this to a variable. Recoil alpha. Plug the recoil alpha into all of them. There we go. And now if you set the alpha here, you can see the difference. So this is basically the animation. So yeah, you can just play around with the values, depends on how strong you want the recoil to be and so on. You could set these values to be like twice the amount and then the recoil, and never set the alpha to 1, just set the alpha depending on, like, a normal gun would have 0.5 and a stronger gun would have 0.7, for instance. I'm just gonna do 1 for now. And that seems pretty fine. I'm gonna default this to 0. So now when we shoot, we need to actually set this recoil alpha. And we have one tiny issue with our component setup, is that we cannot do timelines in components. I did the workarounds with the tick before and stuff like that, but that just feels overkill to disable and enable tick every time we fire, so I'm not gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna actually add some functionality to our character. I said so before that it's gonna be almost impossible to avoid adding some stuff to the character unless we go into C++. I'll probably, for myself or whatever, I'll probably do C++ timeline inside of the component. That's probably how you should do it if you want to keep it component based, but I'm just gonna do this for now for the tutorial. So we will make a custom event called add recoil. And we will go into our BI player. Function call add recoil. So when we shoot, we're gonna do, actually this should not enable. Call add recoil. On our owning character. And then we add event. We don't actually need a custom event for it because we can just add timeline here. It's gonna be play from start instead. We're gonna double click it and open it and add a float track that will have a length of 0.3. We're gonna right click here and add three keys. First one will be 0, 0. Second one will be 0.1 and 1. If I click this, it's gonna focus in on those. And then the last one will be at 0.30 again. Now I'm gonna select them all, right click and just do auto. There we go. So I have this as 0.1 instead of 0.15 would be the middle, but I want the recoil to be like a little bit faster up and then a little bit longer recovery time. And you can play around with these values as well, depends on how fast and how long. You could increase these to 0.4 or whatever as well if you want to. I found this, I think this is fairly okay. I looked at Resident Evil and they have fairly quick recovery times and everything. Gonna rename this float track to go. Now we're gonna get the mesh. Get anim instance. And we already have an interface for this one as well, I believe. BI anim BP. So let's open BI anim BP and call set recoil alpha alpha. There we go. And add an input. That's gonna be a float. Now we can call it here on the update, and the alpha will be the alpha from the timeline. This is not replicated or anything now, I just want to see how it looks. Event call set recoil alpha. Let's go into the level. There we go. Looks alright. As I said, I'm not an animator and this is probably not a AAA project. So I'm not worrying too much about it looking extremely AAA. But this is one technique to do it. You could also obviously do animations. If you want to do an animation, that's gonna be easier. We already have the montage here, so you can just do advanced play montage and just play your recoil montage here. But I find the animations not looking too good, to be honest. I think it looks better if you get like a good looking proper procedural animation. This looks alright. It doesn't look like, if we spam really quickly, it looks a bit too snappy, but we haven't added any the shooting to the input buffering and stuff like that, so that's probably gonna be solved by that. Because like even if you spam quick as hell, the weapon shouldn't shoot quicker than it normally would. So we're gonna solve that. I also have some gun sounds. You can use whatever sound you want, but I'm gonna add some sounds and stuff, and we need a muzzle effect as well, and then after that we're probably gonna do so that we can actually shoot the different bones of the enemy as well. But we also need to replicate it. So I will add a new custom event. Server set recoil alpha. This does not have to be reliable because it doesn't matter if it fires or not, it's just cosmetic. And we're gonna multicast this because we still want the recoil to show up on all the other clients as well. So this does not need to be a rep notify because it's not like a permanent state change. It's just a quick visual thing. So the rep notifiers are there to sync people when they connect afterwards and stuff. But a shooting is such a quick thing, so it's not gonna matter. It's only relevant to people that are actually there when it happens. So this will be a multicast. And we can do like this. We don't need to pass it through, I believe, because everybody is already aware of the animation instance, but we do need to pass the alpha through. This is the worst thing with Unreal. Absolute worst thing. It's like, why are these not aligned? This is slightly above. Can't this align nicely with this one? See, this is too high, this is too low. Oh my god. Get player controller. Do the normal exclusion. Add a branch. So if the player controller is not the one we're excluding, we're gonna do the multicast. Line nicely. Nope. Alright, then we're gonna do multicast set recoil alpha. Plug them through. And here we're also gonna do server set recoil alpha. to the same. And the player controller to exclude will be your own player controller, because the client's recoil happens here as soon as they press the button, even if it's lag. Sorry. And that's it, I believe. We haven't really looked if stuff is replicated or not, so let's do that properly. I've done all the last 4 videos in one go without actually checking any of the replication stuff, which is probably a bad idea. So let's look. Clients. Seems to work. I am playing with net lag now, so I just want to see if that's why it looks so slow. The way it's lagging a bit. But it seems to work. Cool. Alright. That's gonna be it for this one, and we will keep adding stuff in the next one. See you soon. Bye.